Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd. This month is almost over. We are using a new sticker this week. Seems to be the theme. I've been trying to produce a bunch of stickers for an upcoming casting sticker book. And I guess just stay tuned for that. But anyway, this one is based off of old film, projections is what it's called. It's inspired by the movies or the scenarios that we replay in our memories. But I thought it would be kind of neat to just see how, like, on a Monday or a Tuesday or the beginning of the week, we assume what we know is going to happen in the week, and then how sometimes things can come together towards the end that is not what we projected. So let's just see what this week has in store for us. What are we projecting that the week will be, and what will it actually be? And so we have, for projections, we have the devil. At the beginning of the week, that seems about right. Like, we just assume that everything is going to be, I'm just going to say awful. That's not necessarily true. But what's actually going to happen is the Three of Pentacles. So when I see those together, immediately I think, like, oh man, this could be a terrible week, especially if you're paying attention to, like, news cycles, or maybe there's just some big projects due or some things that is coming up this week that you're kind of dreading. But what's actually going to come out is just something that's going to be like, you know what, instead of being all up in our minds about it, and instead of, like, zooming out and seeing everything that's going on that maybe we can't control, because the devil can be about control as well, we're going to see that it really is just going to take some effort and some teamwork together to be able to get through this, whatever this is, So it's like, when we think we have to go it alone, we see everything on this big scale of, like, projecting what could go wrong. But when we allow it to really just show up, we can say, okay, I don't have to go this alone. I can have a team around me. And with that Three of Pentacles, it's kind of suggesting that we can go back to the drawing board, right? And, like, re-look over our plans and the blueprints and all those things. I'm going to bring in some tiny tarot tiles, and we're going to put them up here in the film strip. The first one, these are like the scenarios. These are like our production stills, snapshots, if you will, of what is leading from this devil, what is making us assume, And these are the outside forces, the things that are contributing to our assumption, or like the outer world, the outer assumptions. And we've got the Four of Cups. And I see that as, like, things that we're just so tired of hearing about and feeling about, and overwhelming, and we just want to check out, right? That tracks. That totally tracks with that projection of that devil energy, of that, we have to go through this again, Scenario 2, this production still, is maybe a familiar memory that's lending to this projection, to this plot. Our inner assumption. This is what we can control. And we've got the Five of Swords. And we can control, to some extent, the discussions and dialogues that we have. They can take a turn, and maybe that's also contributing to this energy of just feeling like, out of controlness, lending to needing to get back to a group mindset, or a getting on the same team, the same playing field, the same drawing board. The Five of Swords is saying we're bored, and maybe we've burned some bridges with the words that we've had and the words that we've let fly, or even the things that we're allowing to take up space in our head. And this is the neutralizing event that's going to bring everything together. And we've got the Seven of Swords. And from the 5 to the 7, I see it's like we're no longer dwelling on the things, the debates that we've had, and maybe the people who've left our orbit, or just the conversations that we no longer want to have. So we are just taking what we can and leaving, and just moving forward with, okay, I can't change everybody's mind. My mind is set. I know what I have. I'm going to maybe just steal away in the night, right? Like just kind of just disappear if you need to, like disappear from the things that are really making you feel like you're in this energy. And what that can look like is turning off your phones, turning off your TVs, not answering the phones, not answering every text message that comes. You know, like the 7 of Swords is this energy of just not everything needs to go with you in your orbit, right? And so that brings us back to this, like, it's funny how we have this water and then all this air, but then the earth energy is saying, okay, yes, we know what happens when it goes unchecked. Now we can bring it back, and then towards the end of the week, we're going to have a strategy. We're going to be back in, it might feel like we took a couple steps back, but now we have a better plan on how to move forward. You know, if this is the worst that's going to happen, now we can move forward with a better plan. And so this is the future action. This is going to be the Lenormand tiles that give us guidance on how to wrap up this week. And I've got 3. Got the snake, the coffin, and the bouquet. And how can we make those be a wrap-up? Well, we're closing the chapter on those shady dealings, right? We're closing the chapter. We're saying goodbye to this devil energy, to the snake, to the we're just saying goodbye to the things that are no longer serving us. And moving forward, we're going to see that as a gift. You know, with every goodbye is an open door, right? So the beginning of the week, maybe there's some residue from last week that you're still dealing with. You know, maybe that devil energy. I love that this is Capricorn, and 3 of Pentacles also has Capricorn energy in it. So they do tie, but it's not as big of an issue as we're making it out to be. So by the end of the week, we will see that. And because we've experienced this, we're going to be able to go forward with a level head and get back to that, you know, the drawing board. And that's what's being projected on the big screen of the reality. The bigger picture is we need to strategize. And what that looks like in your life, only you're going to be able to know. What has brought us there is, you know, the outside influences of just being so over everything and not being inspired anymore, perhaps. And then just tired of the same conversations, the same arguments, and just, you know, the 5 of Swords is like winning at all costs, but then everybody loses, right? So then the 7 of Swords is saying, okay, well, to neutralize it, we need to just walk away with what we have, what we can carry. Don't even say goodbye, just walk away from it. And then going forward, you know, the action steps is, again, closing the chapter on those obstacles, on those shady dealings, on the people, places, and things that may not have our best interest in heart. And then that is the true gift of the week, is being able to strategize and get back to actual planning in a productive manner. So whatever you're experiencing this week, if the beginning is heavy, hello, Mercury retrograde, it's understandable. But just rethink it and go into it with a little bit more planning, and you will come out on top. And don't be afraid to just say no to things that do not light you up. I hope whatever you're dealing with, you have a good week, and I will see you here next Tuesday. This casting sticker is now available in our shop, and there's going to be more to come. As I said, I'm working on a book, so stay tuned for that. And be sure to follow me on Patreon and all the places. And again, I'm so grateful that you're here. Like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good week. Bye.